All right, we begin with a discussion on technology. There have been notable tech companies whose founders have created them from an idea while being in university. Dell Technologies back in 1984, Michael Dell at the University of Texas at Austin. Yahoo with Jerry Yang and David Filo in 1994, 10 years later. And then 10 years later, Mark Zuckerberg in Harvard. Although there are a number, you should watch the Social Network movie, very good film. It wasn't just Mark Zuckerberg, there's a number of other people, but still, because of space, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, 2004. A year later, Reddit, a lot of stuff going on in Reddit. At the University of Virginia, Steve Hoffman, Alexis Ohanian, who is the husband of Serena Williams. Snapchat in 2011, even Spielberg, Bobby Murphy, Reggie Brown. And then most recently, Figma at Brown University, Dylan Field and Evan Wallace. Snapchat, of course, founded at Stanford University. So with respect to present day, can we still see more innovation coming from universities and young people at universities? Let's talk to our guests who are joining us in London. We, of course, Stephen Jacobelli, who, of course, is part of Oxfounders Global. Lucas Jacobelli and Morgane Bascle, who of course is also with Oxfounders Global as well. Morgane and Lucas, thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you guys again. All right, we begin with you, Morgane. I wanted to ask you what makes young minds at the university level fertile for innovative thoughts that lead to technology breakthroughs.
Thank you so much, Roses, for having us. It's a real pleasure to be here, as you said, again. Yeah, so I think, in terms of what makes it particularly fertile, I think there's two main elements. One is costs are particularly low at university. When you're a professional, you have much higher living costs. You have a salary that you are used to, a reputation that you are used to. You're risking to lose all these things when founding, and a student is not. At the same time, there is something really special about the university campus in terms of idea creation. You see a lot of different disciplines, people from all sorts of different backgrounds interacting with each other, and that creates a really nice type of serendipity, which can lead to some really exciting ideas.
Fantastic. Lucas, you both with Oxfounders, you've started, I guess, your community at Oxford University 2022. You've been to about 5 different continents now. Are you seeking to inspire students to find tech innovation within themselves, or do they already have to exhibit that ahead of time?
Yeah, thanks, Roses. It's great to see you again. I think the answer is really a bit of both. So we work with a lot of startups that are in and out of university with students, young people that have already got a team and have already got an idea. And the main purpose there is to unlock growth by getting them the right mentorship or the right support or the right investment. But that's only half the story, because really we started this community at Oxford to inspire people, young people, to look at entrepreneurship as something that they could do as well, to put them in front of role models, people who've done it before, who can share their failures, who can share what they got wrong, what they got right, and really just to energize people and get them excited about building something really meaningful. So definitely it's both things for us.
Certainly, sounds great. Building something meaningful that impacts lives. I feel the vibe there. Morgane, Oxfounders community, you've been to Nigeria. You hosted an innovation pitching competition. You've partnered with a number of entities here in Nigeria, along with universities. What's been your takeaway from interacting with students here in Nigeria at the university level?
I think what's been really exciting to see is the amount of talent that exists in Nigeria. Of course, huge, very highly skilled population. You can see there is a lot of dynamism. You can see there's a lot of people that are trying to change things, which has been really, really great. And then the other element is there are still a lot of problems that are free to be solved, and you can see a lot of motivation. Think about MoneyPoint, that brought financial services to so many people that previously were left behind by traditional banking. Those sorts of problems are also huge opportunities for innovation, and we are really seeing students take it into their own hands to change something. Of course, there are still some restrictions and limitations in terms of the institutional support that they receive, and it would be great to increase that, but people are doing incredible things.
Excellent. Lucas, so I guess with your mission here in Nigeria, like everywhere else where you all have been to, is to supercharge university entrepreneurship. Now, is that impacted by what the students are studying at the university? So, for instance, is it focused on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, or does it matter what they're studying?
I think that's a great question. One of the main focuses of our work, and certainly in our upcoming project with Triple Helix Nigeria, the NCDMB, focusing on Nigerian universities, is going to be about research commercialization. So that is looking at students who have done research or who are doing research in universities and are going to look at producing deep tech companies. So things like in the energy sector or in the health tech sector, in even AI. And that is quite limited in the sense of it's going to be people who are coming out with the research. But that is, again, only part of the story, because I think, we are really passionate about the fact that innovation can come from all corners, and it doesn't have to be a specific discipline or a specific sector. I mean, some of the companies that you had there on the board earlier on were founded by people who had all sorts of different backgrounds, whether it be in law or in business or in other fields. So definitely we're of the view that innovation can come from anywhere, and that universities are a great place for it to be born, because there are so many experts from different fields, and that's what actually makes it a more enriching environment to start a business.
All right, now let me follow up on that with Morgane. Morgane, what you heard what Lucas just said about disciplines and so on. What's your response to people who say students should just focus on their studies, because trying to be like a Mark Zuckerberg or Michael Dell will distract them from the reason why they're in university in the first place?
Look, I mean, I understand the worry. Of course, there is a big risk with student startups, as there are with any startups, and a lot of them are likely to fail. Of course, sacrificing your academics 100% in favor of something so risky can be dangerous and can be a waste. But I think what people often who make that sort of comment overlook is that there is a huge amount of overlap between what universities are there for and what being a founder allows you to do. So if you think of universities as spaces of learning, of increasing your career opportunities, of increasing your network, all three of these things can be done, and can even maybe be done better if you try to run a startup on the side. So there is a huge amount of overlap. And while I definitely say if there are any students watching, don't drop out of university immediately upon founding a startup. So that's a very dangerous path to take unless you're 100% certain. This is something that there can be a lot of overlap, and universities shouldn't hesitate to encourage that sort of innovation.
Okay, great. So Morgane just said, don't drop out. I want to follow up on that point with you, Lucas. One of the companies we featured is Figma. They just had their IPO last week. The stock popped. And one of the stories of Figma, of course, is Dylan Field, who is the co-founder that got a $100,000 scholarship from the Thiel Fellowship, which, of course, is from the foundation of Peter Thiel, the billionaire tech guy who started, of course, tech entrepreneur who started PayPal with Elon Musk. But one of the requirements is that you drop out of school for about 2 or 3 years or so to focus on the startup with $100,000 or $200,000. Well, what do you guys make of that model?
I thought that might be coming. I think the Thiel Fellowship has produced some really exceptional companies. But I also think it's a model that works particularly well in Silicon Valley, where you have an incredible density of network, both of venture capitalists, of mentors, of former founders that are able to create this support net that if a founder fails, they can bounce back immediately, have lots of shots on goal. And that is a very unique quality in the Silicon Valley ecosystem. I would say that in general, our view is that universities remain the best place to found a business. And the data backs this up. There was a recent study in the US done last year that showed that as a founder, if you've gone through at least a bachelor's degree at university, you're almost 40 times more likely to get professional funding for your startup than if you hadn't gone through university at all. So I really think that universities can be perfect environments for people to take the risk and to really start building that next generation of companies.
Fantastic. All right, well, almost out of time. I just want to get a final word from you both. I guess from each of you, your outlook for student innovation at the university level, starting with you, Morgane.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I think I'm cautiously optimistic. I have seen the talent, I've seen amazing ideas, and I think there's so much potential. I think what we really need to work on is universities providing the right type of support for student entrepreneurs and student founders to thrive. And this is the project that we will be starting in collaboration with Triple Helix Nigeria and the NCDMB, finding initiatives to really boost entrepreneurship ecosystems and university support of these student founders.
Thank you. Lucas, your final word?
My last word would be that I think universities are often the most overlooked part of any tech and startup ecosystem, both by investors and also generally by outsiders looking at the tech ecosystem. And I think the key is to be able to build a pipeline where the most talented people who are working on exciting things at university are then able to enter the tech sector and contribute to a really thriving national innovation ecosystem. And that's what we're going to hope to achieve with our project in Nigeria and with our organization more generally.
Hey, you guys are doing great work around the world. We look forward to having you again in Nigeria. Lucas Jacobelli, Morgane Bascle, both joint chair at Oxfam and founders also at Oxfam Founders Global. Thank you both for your time. Really appreciate you talking to us. Great initiative.